Okay guys, so today I'm going to do a review for something that I wasn't expecting to do a review for because I didn't realize it existed until like yesterday basically. So on BBC America there is this fantastic 3-part miniseries called In the Flesh. If you are into zombies, people, you know, this is the miniseries for you. It's definitely kind of like your zombie story with a twist. So the main character in this miniseries, his name is Kieran Walker. This is obviously based in the UK because BBC America. I should do this review in my British accent. I won't do that to you people. I won't do it, I promise. The twist on this show is that it kind of takes place after the zombie outbreak is over. So you've got all of these zombies that the government has basically found a way to cure. They found kind of an antidote. And basically if they take it daily, then they can go back to their normal lives. So at the beginning of the show, you see Kieran, right? And he's in this facility, and you get that he was a zombie at some point, and he was eating people's brains. But now he's been cured, and he's taking his medication, and he's getting ready to get released so he can go back home. I thought it was hilarious because, of course, the government comes up with a name for the disease that the zombies had, right? And it's called PDS, Partially Deceased Syndrome, which is just kind of hilarious and just seems like something that a government would do. Now this kid is gonna go back home, right? He's got a family, he's got his mom and his dad and his sister, but the little town that he's going back to, basically you get that a lot of people are not really all that welcoming. There's an organization in the town that Kieran's parents live in that's called the Human Volunteer Force. And even though kind of the zombie apocalypse is over, they're still armed, they're still doing their patrols, like they're still like trying to keep their town safe, and still really kind of like militant, you know, and anti-zombie basically. Kieran's parents, I felt like were a little naive because, you know, when he gets out, they do sneak him back into this little town called Rorton. And, I mean, it's just basically a town that's like, it's like a powder keg waiting to explode, basically. And Kieran's sister, right, who is a, like, serious member of the HVF, the Human Volunteer Force, she is, like, super militant herself. She is not having it when he shows up at the house at first. And part of that is because she doesn't think it's her brother. She thinks it's that he's gone, you know, that this is just some sort of reformed monster. And there's this really beautiful scene between the two of them where she's just basically like, tell me something that only, you know, Kieran would know about me. And, you know, he tells her this great story about something that happened when they were kids. And yeah, the thing about this miniseries that was so good is it's like you've got the zombie element, but there's also a very human and kind of dramatic element, so that was really cool. One thing I forgot to mention, which was super cool as well, is that like all of the zombies, like when we first see Kieran like in this kind of facility, where the government is holding people, his eyes are really kind of bright and like unnaturally colored, and his skin is like super like light and almost like translucent a little bit to some degree. And so part of their kind of re-education and part of their kind of getting reintroduced back into society is they have to cover that up. And so the government gives them contact lenses and this makeup, right? And they did such a good job because all I kept thinking is, oh, they're just gonna pretend he's got their makeup on all the time and he's gonna go home looking normal. But you could tell, like, I don't know, like when he gets home and he's wearing his contacts and he's put this kind of powder and foundation on his face, you can tell there's something off about it. So that was really cool. This town, you know, where his parents live that he goes back to, like I said, is like the worst place for him to go. And there are several people in the town who are just really kind of stirring up trouble. You've got the vicar, who is really like the worst one, basically. He's awful. And then there's this other guy in the town who was a leader in the HVF. His name is Bill, and he is the dad of one of Kieran's friends, you know, from when they were growing up. And he, yeah, is just like a super militant citizen who has decided that no people who were once zombies are going to move back into his neighborhood. Towards the end of the first part, you think that Kieran's been found out, right? Because all of a sudden, all of these like HVF people show up on their street, and his parents were so awesome, Kieran's parents, right? Because they think they're coming for Kieran. And so mom pulls out the chainsaw, dad has a bat that's got nails in it, and so you see mom at the back of the house, like at the back door, and she's like revving up the chainsaw like she's waiting for someone to come in and try to get her son. Like she's gonna cut someone's head off. I mean, it was pretty awesome. But it turns out that there's somebody else in the neighborhood who suffered from PDS. And it's the lady across the street. And this guy, Bill, basically pulls her out into the middle of the street, makes her take her contact lenses out so he can see her eyes and see that she's not right, that she's not natural, and he kills her. And yeah, it just gives you a taste of what's to come. I mean, basically, he needs to leave. He needs to get out of this little town. I'll also note that at the very end of the episode, you know, Bill and his wife, he goes home, and they had a son who died in Afghanistan, as far as they knew. And when he gets home, the military is at his house to tell him that his son is coming home. And it turns out that his son had PDS. So I guess we'll see how that plays as well, because he just shot this woman in the middle of the street. I'm sure his perspective is going to change now that his son is coming home and he's, you know, was a zombie too. I really enjoyed it, you guys, and I will definitely watch all 3 parts. Again, I just thought it was just such a genius kind of twist on the whole, like, zombie phenomenon. You know, instead of it being about the outbreak, it's more about these people, you know, trying to get their lives back, and kind of like, what happens after? What happens after when we find the cure? How do we go back to normal, and do we go back to normal? And that's pretty interesting. There's still also this kind of tension as well, because you get that you've got all of these people who suffer from PDS, and now they're going back home, and they have to take this medication every day, and if they don't take it, they will revert back. So it's kind of like, you know, that's going to happen at some point. Some idiot's not going to take that medicine, and then we're going to be back in the zombie apocalypse. So you have the tension of that at the same time that you have kind of the awkwardness of, you know, trying to go home after you ate your neighbor's brains. So, there you go. I would definitely check it out. Like I said, I watched it on BBC America. If you don't have that, you might check out their website. You guys, Google it. You can watch anything online nowadays. I'm sure you can find it somewhere, and I would definitely do that. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye.